There was a lot of discussion in the comments of my live stream around the recent NIO offering. Some takes were like, this is really bad, I don't understand why the company is doing it right now. Others were questioning whether or not this is really dilutive or not. And again, others were saying like, this is really good and a smart move. So let's revisit the arguments here, making two cases basically, updating you on some of the stuff that I found out after I made the live stream, and then give you my views on whether or not the market reaction yesterday was actually bad or was it good. So yesterday NIO dropped 6% in the market, and you may think that this was the initial reaction to the offering that NIO was doing the day before. But actually I would argue that there's much more to it, and that this offering can actually also be framed positive. So right after my live stream I was publishing this Patreon only post in our community, digging deeper and talking about this at the market offering fixed at the closing price of $40.37, which actually means that for NIO this offering can be handled quite flexibly, and the $2 billion can be raised in the open, so whenever the market prices seem right to them. And interestingly, this at the market offering can be started and stopped at any point, that they can also become more aggressive by selling more shares and raising more money when there is an opportunity in the market. So this is important to understand because, well, we've been speculating on why this odd timing, right? Why is NIO raising now? They have more than 7 billion cash at hand. So many of you have been upset that this is kind of, well, bad for shareholders and not really necessary. But the fact that they are using this tool of an at-the-market offering tells us also that NIO actually may be anticipating higher share prices in the future, and thereby from NIO's perspective this could actually mean that they need to sell less shares in the market in order to raise the 2 billion if they want to raise them at all. So it gives them this flexibility, and this was also highlighted by one of our Patreon members who posted this article here, which basically talked through the fact that NIO has learned their lesson from Elon Musk and Tesla there, not raising the money when you really are in dire need and needing it, but rather when you are in a position of strength. And now also with this flexibility of an at-the-market offering, this creates lots of flexibility again, and basically allows NIO to raise it at any preferential time, for instance in the next couple of months, if the market is going up and NIO's stock price is going up. So yes, from a shareholder's perspective, the timing may seem odd here, but from a company and management perspective, this could actually make a lot of sense. Particularly if the management is in the views that the share price is likely to going up in the future and possibly you have got something great to announce. Now there has been also lots of discussion in the comments whether or not this is dilutive at all, and yes, it clearly is. It is a roughly 3% dilution, as I mentioned already in the live stream. So here is the section that I found later on at a more detailed prospectus around this dilution, clearly explaining how it is working. And this dilution, as I explained before, although it is not nice for shareholders to have, it is to be expected as a startup and a company that is growing. And interestingly here by the analysts of Bank of America, which by the way maintained their rating of $62 of a target price, mentioned that this NIO's at-the-market offering actually follows Li Auto's and XPeng's recent dual primary listings in Hong Kong Exchange, where they raised 1.7 billion and 2.1 billion respectively. Similar take by Edison Yu from Deutsche Bank, which by the way also maintains its price target of $60, and he also mentioned actually a more aggressive plan of a capacity expansion of 600,000 units by the end of next year, which is actually surprising me because that is much higher than my personal estimations and anticipations in my business case. And well, I'm still a little bit hesitant whether or not we can believe those numbers, because they would be actually, well, quite a big thing. But that would actually also explain if the company is in the view that they want to ramp up that quickly. And I was speculating about this as well, that this is a unique opportunity and time frame now to expand sales, as Tesla is leading, which we have yesterday seen with the Gigafactory production numbers coming out really strong, and at the same time the legacy automakers still struggling to come in actually up with EV models that are competitive. So this is a unique opportunity in both expanding globally but also building up capacity in China as well. So if these timelines and more aggressive targets here are real, then this would really justify why are they also raising right now on top of the flexibility of the at-the-market offering and the price action that might be in favor towards the end of the year for NIO here. And so I think in that context it makes more sense. I was also baffled by the way the timing was announced during the live stream. I also recognized the fact that you could also have a bearish view on that. For instance, that NIO is really struggling right now in terms of the output, the production facilities, the scale and so on. And you could also read this in a negative light, but it becomes more and more clear to me now that this might actually be a smart move by the management. And I understand now also why they are not so outgoing and talking about what the real plans and reasons for this are. So one reason is of course because this at-the-market offering really doesn't require you to say specifically when and how you are going to use these funds. So there is this inherent flexibility. And second of all, if they're really planning to aggressively expand like this, then that is not certainly something which you want to let your competitors know by announcing it in the news, right? So that I think is a more nuanced view there, and this might also explain why yesterday the 6% drop may actually not be that dramatic at all. Because as you can see, yesterday we had, well, a big drawdown in most of the names, particularly Chinese names, but also some of the Western growth names. For example, Global Health, BMGO and so on, all had really bad days, and it seems more to be also a market correction going on, or at least a big down day at that time. And then NIO is comparing with the -6% to, for instance, XPeng, which also had a down day of -6%, although they didn't have such kind of an offering announced the day before. So basically the -3% dilution of NIO, if you subtract that, NIO would have actually outperformed against XPeng yesterday. And so you can see that the market was actually smart enough about recognizing some of these positive aspects of this offering and the timing, and the analysts and some of the media takeaways are actually quite recognizing the fact that this made actually quite sense the way it has been done, although it has been surprising us. And so yeah, I hope this helps also to clarify a little bit more about the market reaction, the reasons behind it possibly, plus also whether or not this really is dilutive and so on. As I have mentioned before, it is to be expected that a company like NIO is diluting their shareholders actually also in the future again. So if that is really a big of a concern for you, then NIO is possibly not the right investment for you. For me personally, I'm fine with that. After digging down deeper into some of these explanations and the market takes, I'm even more confident about it. And so yeah, just want to get the message out there to you, and then let me know once again in the comments what you think about it, and then see you in the next one.